Those Who Serve on WBBZ-TV 5 is proudly sponsored by Hiller Comerford Injury and Disability Law. If you need VA disability benefits, it's Hiller time. Alpha Stim for relief of anxiety, pain, and sleep issues. More information is at alpha-stim.com. Ron Cozy's Old Editions Bookshop and Gallery, located on Oliver Street in North Tonawanda. And the Erie County American Legion.
Hello, I'm veteran Terry McGuire, proud to host the show by, for, and about veterans in Western New York. Welcome to Those Who Serve. On this edition, meet guests from the Erie County American Legion and superstar student representation from American Legion's Boys and Girls State program. And hear from veterans experiencing sleep, anxiety, and pain issues using a non-drug clinically approved treatment technology. On this edition of Those Who Serve, let's begin to find out about some special programs being led by the Erie County American Legion. Hi, I'm veteran Terry McGuire, and on this segment of Those Who Serve, we're going to speak with two great people right now, right off the bat, from the American Legion, who are going to talk a little bit more about the Boys and Girls State program, which is a program for citizenship, and that was honed in many years ago back towards Bill Clinton, Tom Brokaw, and myself in 1981 when I was a graduate of the Boys State program from the American Legion. Fundamentally changed my life. But I want to introduce to you Bernie Romanowski from the American Legion, and also Ann Baglio, the former past director of Western New York's auxiliary. I want to welcome you both. Thank you so much for being here today to talk about the program. In general, let's just take a wide overview of the program and what it means to a lot of the young students coming through who might show a little bit of gumption or interest in their government. Just tell us a little bit more in a general overview about the Boys State and Girls State program.
Okay, the Boys State program is for young men that have completed their junior year in high school. And they have to be in the top 80% of their class, obviously of strong character. And we send them for 1 week to Morrisville State College, where they get to institute a mock government. They run for office, they make presentations, they develop platforms, they sell platforms. So they're selling themselves to their constituents. And then at that time, they get elected to positions. So you'll meet shortly a young man that was elected to New York State governor. We were quite proud of his achievement. By being elected Boys State governor, he got to go to Boys Nation in Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. So I've seen young men over the course of being Erie County Boys State chairman. At first, they're a little apprehensive. What am I getting into? Mm-hmm. But once they get into it and they see the camaraderie and they get a little taste of military life, we teach them how to march. It's not a basic training, but we give them a little marching and parades and that type of stuff. And it's unique for a parent to come to the graduation ceremony and see a young man marching in a parade. And being two ex-military men like Terry and myself, any soldier loves to parade.
So in a way, it's kind of like if you're a high school student interested in the law, it would be kind of like a mock trial, where they go and learn about trials, then they go and they conduct mock trials in front of judges and juries. Yeah. So I think that's really a fascinating thing. And tell us a little bit about the evolution of the program and how it extended to Girls State.
Okay. It started in 1938, the Empire Girls State.
That long ago?
It did.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. And so, again, every auxiliary unit in the state, and I'm just talking for New York State, but it goes national, they coincide with counselors at high schools and pick girls, in the third of their class, and then we go in as auxiliary units, and if they participate, then we go in and interview these girls. we're allowed right now for Erie County Girls State 10 girls to go. There's a total of 300 in New York State that can go to Girls State. I'm not sure what it is for Boys State.
Our quota last year was 35, 37. We ended up recruiting actual 25 young
What are
men.
some of the traits and characteristics of the individuals that you're trying to recruit? Can you go through what a guidance department or a teacher who's going to nominate them, what are they looking for?
Well, leadership, somebody that can, be in control and go forward, somebody that can do public speaking, because there's a lot of that in Girls State and Boys State.
Oh, yeah.
And an source person. They can go and do many things and take charge and go forward, move forward.
Yeah, each post that recruits a boy is required to go through, and a girl, I would assume, is required to go through an interview process. So you can weed out, as an interview.
Speak to that. Some of the how would they, like, if they were interested? Let's say you're a parent here, or a grandparent that thinks their son or daughter might be a good candidate for the program. What are the steps that they would have to take?
Well, first thing is get a hold of your guidance counselor, and let him know you're interested in. And most of the schools that we've dealt with, we deal through the guidance counselor. I would like to get this great opportunity to get this to other schools. Right now, I think we've had about 10 schools that have supported the program throughout Erie County. Mm-hmm. And obviously, we're trying to get more. There's other issues involved I could talk about. Is funding. This is a great program, but it costs us $550 per boy to send a boy to college.
Gotcha.
Well, the Legion supports it, but we also look for outside sponsors.
Very good.
We've had the Buffalo Bills came forward and sponsored us. Boy.
Excellent. And Bernie, thank you so much for sharing some of the things that our young students go through, and to go through this process to become a member of Boys State or Girls State. And hopefully very shortly we're going to hear from a few of those graduates that went to some of the summer programs this summer back in Morrisville or in Brockport, SUNY Brockport. So we're looking
we certainly
forward to
appreciate this opportunity to sell the program.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Here we have Sophie Kephart, who works for the Village of Williamsville as their community development person and liaison. She's also works as a counselor for the Girls State program that is hosted every year at SUNY Brockport. So I want to welcome you, Sophie, for being here today and telling us a little bit about the program. Can you share with us if a young lady would like to be a part of the American Legion Girls State program, what they would have to do and how should we go about finding them?
Absolutely. So if you're interested in participating in the program, I think the appeal is really in the mission of the conference. You're away for a week and you're really focused in a bubble on government, politics, and leadership. So reaching out to your school guidance counselor and speaking to them about the program and how you could get involved is really the most important step, because they're the ones that are going to be recommending you to your local post for an interview.
It must be an intimidating thing being selected by your committee and the different committees that the American Legion has to bring folks in. But once that's done and once they actually get there, do you see a huge transformation from when they first arrive until when they finally leave?
Absolutely. There is a certain rhythm to the week, and so seasoned counselors will tell you about Weepy Wednesday, when everybody sort of starts to feel the weight of their, of this experience. But the first day is like clockwork too, and so everybody comes in a little deer in the headlights, but they quickly assimilate, they quickly get to know each other. I think you heard some experiences that the citizens had this year where a lot of kids came in knowing exactly what they wanted out of the program, and the ones who don't, who are finding their way, it's just as beautiful to watch that experience as well.
And again, the best way to reach out is to go to the high school guidance counselors.
Yes, absolutely.
And ask them for how would they apply or get assessed in moving forward. Going forward.
Absolutely. Yep. And then your local post is going to work with your guidance counselors to select a list of girls or boys to interview. And that's really how you start that process.
Excellent. So, Sophie Kephart, thank you so much for coming from the Village of Waynesville. Thank you for being here today on Those Who Serve.
Thank you.
As part of our continuation about the American Legion's Boys and Girls State program, I have two great guests today that just graduated, so to speak, from the program this summer. I have here with us our Claire Bartholomew from Waynesville East High School, who became lieutenant governor through the process, and also David Brophy from Clarence High School, who not only was elected governor, but went on to Boys Nation later on and participated in Washington, D.C. So both of you, welcome to the show today. Tell us a little bit about the Boys and Girls State program. We'll start with Clara first and just say what it meant to you, how you thought the process went in terms of getting on board with it, and what did you learn from it? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going through, I'm sure, processing this great event. As a 1981 graduate of the program, I thought it had a huge impact on me, but I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, thank you for having us. So for me, I didn't know very much about the program. My school doesn't promote it a ton, but I'd heard a little bit about people who went in past years, and I thought I wanted to give it a try. So the interview process went really well for me. Everyone was really good at responding, and it was easy to find ways to talk to the auxiliary. And then once I actually got there, like all of my worries vanished. It was amazing. The girls on my floor were from all over the state, which was one of the best parts for me, meeting people from, like my roommate was from Long Island, and meeting people from all over. And then beyond that, it was just amazing to talk to so many like-minded girls throughout the week. Everyone had all these like amazing ideas about policy suggestions or different bills we could write for our legislative session. And throughout the week, I could feel myself learning so much and also being able to contribute to all of these girls. That's
amazing. Now, did that interest in politics and government and how our system works, did that come from you at Waynesville East High School, from your parents, or from a whole collection of different ways and means to get to where you were?
You know, it's definitely a collection. I had some interest just because I love hearing about, you know, current events, what's going on in politics. But I would say that Girls State was really what solidified that. Before I went, I wasn't sure if this was something I wanted to pursue. But, you know, after the program, I really think it's something I could see myself doing.
Well, I think it's amazing for both of you. And David, just to bring you in here, David Brophy from Clarence High School, who went on to not only become governor, but on to Boys Nation. That's amazing that Western New York had two great leaders coming from this area. Think about it, the lieutenant governor for Girls State, and you went on to be governor after you were elected. I guess you started out as a mayor, and then you went to the district attorney, and then you were elected the Boys State governor. So that's pretty impressive. Tell us a little bit about your experience there.
I think me and Claire had a very similar experience when it comes to first getting there especially. The interview process went very well. I got to know the members of my post. And when I actually got there, it was an instant weight off my shoulders. I mean, everyone there was so committed and so open to discussing policy and open to figuring out who the other people were that you very easily blended in. You know, you not as in you're all the same, but you all want to work together. Everyone was very driven. Everyone knew what they wanted to do. I mean, I remember the first day I got there, I walked into my hall, and there were 3 or 4 kids with business cards running for governor. And those people became some of my best friends over the course of this program because they were so driven and so many people wanted to do so much at that Boys State program that everyone just wanted to lift each other up and push each other to do better at each step of the way.
Seems like they came prepared.
Definitely.
They had the G2 or the intelligence on the thing. But, you know, one of the things that I noticed that you wrote in the Clarence website, Clarence High School website, about your experience was that so many people, whether you're politically on one aisle or the other, it seems like each were able to support their positions, back them up, but they were also willing to listen. Would that be probably a pretty good listen in today's political environment?
I mean, when we first got there, what they told us is don't model the government that you see today, but that you want to see tomorrow. And that was very deep to us. Like, it resonated with us a lot through our party caucuses as we tried to find not hair-splitting arguments, but something that as a party we could come together and say, we want small firms to succeed. We want businesses to be able to build themselves up. We want free lunches in schools for children that might not be able to provide them at home. And it was very much that bipartisanship that we were able to draw through from the program. And I think that was the big takeaway that I at least got from the program, is how much more we can get done working together rather than debating and splitting hairs over these big topic issues that affect less people, you know? And at Boys Nation, if you don't mind me kind of moving on to the next subject a little bit here. Sure. our president, Luke Lawson, who we elected and who became a great friend of mine, I was able to be his Secretary of Health and his Secretary of Disease Control while I was there as well. He ran his party on bipartisanship. He was from Alabama, which is a very polarized state, and his entire basis, his entire line for the campaign that he was running is that he wants to hear from everyone, that he wants that bipartisanship, and he would rather represent the views of the people over his own views. He'd rather sign a bill that most people agreed with, even if he was kind of iffy about it, rather than push it off to the side. And that was it was an interesting campaign to run on, and it resonated with people. That bipartisan nature seems to be what people are really looking for these days.
I know veterans are one of those bipartisan areas of our legislation where both sides usually can come together on, whether it's a VA issue or a military issue. Most of the time, both sides of the aisle are pretty supportive on those. But Clara, I just wanted to say, as far as mock legislation, do you recall some of the mock legislation that went through your particular session or Congress, and how were you involved in that?
Yeah, so actually as Lieutenant Governor, I had the honor of presiding over the legislature. So I served as president for the entire legislative session. You know, it was 7 hours in front, everyone stuck inside of that auditorium, but I had a great time. You know, people got so into it. There were like all the hands up with motions every 5 seconds. For as far as what kinds of legislation we passed, I mean, it covered everything. We kind of ranged from bills on agriculture to criminal justice. And one of the interesting things about the program is that we're kind of given a little packet about the issues in our fictional county. So some counties were really worried about, you know, an epidemic that was hurting their trees that they read about. And so some of the bills related to those, and then some of them just went on to broader issues that we were all seeing in our lives.
It's amazing. Well, I just want to say thank you guys for coming out here today and sharing your thoughts on this great program to learn more about how our government works. And I hope you employ that in your future college work and in your future career going forward, whether you go to college or not, whether you choose the military, whether you go to college or you do some other advocacy. We want to say thank you for participating in this program and learning what you did and taking it forward. Today we have a very, very special guest. With me today is former Sergeant and combat veteran Jennifer Sherry. And Jennifer, welcome on the show today. Today we're going to talk a little bit about great technology, a great system that we know as AlphaStim. And AlphaStim has helped us along on several different wave fronts, so to speak. And to continue on, we're just going to put on our AlphaStims and just show our audience a little bit about the device and how it works. But it's very simple. Basically, you wet the electrodes. And again, this is very, very low energy. You know, I will say, at first, when I was first introduced to this technology, I was a little skeptical, thinking, oh, gosh, this is a little bit different. But after I've used it a few times, it's like, wow, this is really good medicine, so to speak, without using drugs, which is great. And there we go. We're off to the races. So, Jennifer, tell us a little bit about your experiences in the Army. I understand you were a military policewoman.
Yes, I joined the Army in 2004. Got sent to Stuttgart, Germany. That was my first duty station, where I was a military police officer. And from there, I got deployed to Afghanistan, where while we were in Afghanistan, our main job as military police, we're going to the different Afghan police stations just to make sure they had proper weapons, uniform, and situations like that. So that was our main mission.
Yeah, and just to be clear too, it wasn't like you were hanging out in headquarters, so to speak. You were actually on the roads manning a Mark 19 grenade launcher. So you tell us a little bit about that. That's pretty impressive.
Absolutely. Being in an MP unit, of course, it's both females and males. But at the time, I was a 20-year-old kid, all about doing everything and anything I could. So I was the one sticking out of the gun with my Mark 19, and we would go on convoys every single day. So I would be up in the gun, and then after our missions, we would actually do the perimeter on the bases as well. So we'd be in the gun all day and then the towers all night.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. And again, thank you for your service on behalf of all veterans. And You know, I think anybody who's been deployed since 9/11 realizes the extent of not just being in a day-to-day combat fight, but also just traveling on the roads is very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of bad things can happen. So, but thank you again for your great service. And I understand you were at Fort Drum, and you were also stationed in Germany. So you've had quite a variety of experiences as an MP. So again, thanks for that. But as far as post-deployment, I know Alpha Stim is cleared for pain, anxiety, insomnia. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience coming back and what you were looking for in terms of treatment options?
Absolutely. Of course, as soldiers, we first getting the symptoms, we're not ones to ask for help when it comes to suffering, when it comes to that. So we kind of bury everything down.
Right. You want to be the tough guy, tough gal?
Yeah,
Understood.
absolutely. But you get to the point where it starts to affect your daily life. So, you know, once you get to that step where you ask for help, the little things with the anxiety, just you don't realize how much that sleep at night is meaningful, to be able to sleep the entire night, because that's your entire day then. So it took a little bit for me to kind of understand what was really going on, more or less. But once I was introduced to medication and all that stuff, you don't really want to rely on medication all the time.
Right.
So I was searching for something where I didn't have to rely on medication to help.
Right.
So,
and we know that there's certain health systems that like to sometimes use that in lieu of other treatment modalities a little bit more often than we would like.
for as many years as I've been going through therapy and such with the PTSD, I've never been introduced to the Alpha Stim until just about 3-4 months ago.
How has this device affected you, and how has it changed your life? And what would you say to other veterans?
It's changed my life for the better in so many ways. You get to the point where you almost feel like, okay, this is my new normal. This is how I'm going to be, and just suck it up. So just wearing something as simple as just putting these on your earlobes, I've been able to get those 7+ hours of sleep, get up and be excited to attack the day. So it's going out, grocery shopping, everything that I avoided before. Now I'm able to do everything that I've been so weary on doing just because of the anxiety, that I'm able to do that now. And I'm excited to do so, and screaming from the rooftops to want other veterans to be able to experience this as well, because we're all not going to believe that something like this is going to work.
Right.
But once you use it, like you said, the first time alone, you start to get a reaction from it. So the more you use it, the better of an effect it does have on you. So there's no reason why I wouldn't want all my fellow battle buddies to know about this, so they can experience the same relief that I have received.
And of course, less drugs. I mean, I think that's key. If you can take care of some of the issues that you have without using drugs, I mean, that's just phenomenal to me, and a game changer for a lot of folks. But how would we go about getting an Alpha Stim device? In your experience, what did you do in order to procure one?
Yeah, so when I was in the PTSD clinic in Batavia, there was a rep there, and she had me do the trial. And that's where I learned about the Alpha Stim. But for everyone else, a simple conversation you can have either with your mental health provider or even just your regular provider that you see for your checkups and such. And then they'll be able to navigate you in the right direction, so you can get yourself an Alpha Stim ordered as well.
Outstanding. Well, I would just want to say, on behalf of veterans that are out there everywhere as we head into Veterans Day and our Veterans Show this November, what a great pleasure it is to meet you, and thank you for your testimony. And I agree with you. I think from the day one since I used the product, it's had a very positive impact on my life. I get up every morning trying to make things happen and feel very energetic throughout the day. So thank you again. Appreciate it. And God bless America. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I'm veteran Terry McGuire. Thanks for watching this Veterans Day edition of Those Who Serve. On this Veterans Day and every day, we thank veterans for their service to our country, and we thank you for watching.
Those Who Serve on WBBZ-TV 5 is proudly sponsored by Hiller Comerford Injury and Disability Law. If you need VA disability benefits, it's Hiller time. Alpha Stim for relief of anxiety, pain, and sleep issues. More information is at alpha-stim.com. Ron Cozy's Old Editions Bookshop and Gallery, located on Oliver Street in North Tonawanda. And the Erie County American Legion.